Summer's end has had me caring for a handful of caterpillars that appeared on my milkweed plants. These will turn into monarchs, hopefully. So I have something to show you. So I'm learning a lot about these monarchs. And their lives are not pretty. The caterpillar there, it's dead. So there's these two threads that are dangling. You can see them, they're kind of waving. So last night I was going to start chrysalising, and it was acting weird. It was like half hanging off the screen as you are seeing right now. And I was like, this doesn't look good. And then I woke up this morning and those threads were dangling off of it. And I was like, what? So I Googled it. And it was being eaten on the inside by maggots. And the maggots eventually kill the caterpillar and then they drop out of their body. And so now I've got two little maggots. They're right in the corner. They're little red bean-looking things. And those are fly maggots. Anyway, I am absolutely both fascinated and disgusted with this whole process. 10% of them survive, and that's shitty. I don't want to get all emotionally invested in these things. You don't know how much I was stressing out on their well-being. So I was over caterpillars after our escapade of maggots, but then I don't know. Here we are with one left, and I found 3 more small ones on another plant. There's one here, and then there's one right here. I don't want them to polish off my plant though, because these plants are little. And there's also a little really tiny one. I think it was here. I got this. It is butterfly habitat, I guess. And it's got really fine mesh, so the little ones can't escape from it. There. Okay. Starting to make a chrysalis. This morning it was moving its little butt around at the top here, and I was like, what are you doing? It looked like it was licking the side of the pot, but it wasn't, because I thought it was its mouth. It wasn't. It was its butt, and it was creating the little silk attachment to the edge of the pot so that it could hang and then create a J shape to start going into chrysalis mode. And hopefully it survives and we don't get maggots popping out of this one. I left to walk the dogs, and when we get back, it's got a chrysalis. It's half an hour? Look! A single hornworm that was demolishing my tomato plant. Hi, buddy. Okay, so I just took the vine that it's clinging to and I'm gonna go put it in the tank and see how this goes. Look how big this thing is. They can grow up to 5 inches. This thing's probably 4-ish. I'm gonna imagine that curl there. So I'm gonna go get it food. It would prefer tomato leaves, but they do eat all parts of the tomato plant, including the young fruit. They also eat squash, bell peppers, spinach, kale, broccoli. So I'm gonna go see what I have.
I've successfully grown and released one monarch butterfly and expect 2 more in the next couple of days.
Hey. Hi, beauty. Here it goes. First flight.
The hornworm will turn into a sphinx moth, and today I can check and see if it has pupated or if it died. Let's see what we find.
Okay, so it's been 7 days, which means I can check and see if this guy has pupated. Trying to find it is going to be another. Sphinx moths like to pupate underground or under leaves, so I stopped hearing it rustling around on Tuesday a week ago. I'm assuming it pupated, didn't die. I should find a little brown, almost like bullet. And they need darkness in order to do it. So you have to, if you're helping them to do this in a tank, you've got to darken it for them so that they think it's underground. Where are you, buddy? All right, well, we haven't found a dead being yet, so I'm going to assume it has pupated. There it is. Oh! Found it. Found it. It's wiggling. They still wiggle. Who knew? At this point, you can handle them. So I'm going to pick it up and see if I can show you. It's wiggling! I don't know if I want to. Are we sure? You see it? I don't know. I feel like I need to leave it alone. Let's give it another day. Yeah. I'm gonna cover it back up and give it another day before I do anything else.
Because the hornworm is a night creature, somehow I feel this is connected to when the day starts for them. In Islam, the day starts at sunset rather than sunrise. In the West, we like to correspond a 24-hour period beginning at sunrise rather than sunset. And I feel like the moth corresponds to this Islamic way of seeing the day start at sunset instead. The beginnings of autumn are starting to trickle in here over the last month or so. You can see the shorter days coming around and just that little change that makes my soul so freaking happy. Over the last year and a half or so, I've been collecting crow feathers, the ones that I find from the ground. And I love their colors and the neat way each piece of feather, which is called a barb, sticks to the next one. And they have these little hooks on them called barbules. It reminds me of barnacles for some reason. And barbicels that make them stick together when lined up properly. And for some reason, that stickiness, the way that they hold together, just makes me feel very satisfied or pleased. It's a strange little piece of like sensory delight that I get. Crows or ravens are known to be liminal messengers, and I like to incorporate their feathers into spell work when I can. I mostly use them to correspond to protection or communication, and they're very easy to use like wands. I have my own correspondence to them, though, because wherever I've moved, I've always heard crows. Because of this, I've learned to listen for them when I feel lost because it brings me back to that feeling of safety and home. Sometime back, I came across a dead crow in the street, and it was intact. It just looked like it was asleep. I wrapped it up in a bag, and I took it home. I was just compelled to take it home with me and look at it and take photos of it. And I did it with the utmost reverence. I just wanted to look at this being, and in death, sometimes there are these details and these things that you've never noticed because movement distracts you from them. And I felt like I just wanted to soak it in reverence and honor. And then I buried it in my yard. I remember this one day when I went for a bike ride to a nearby river, and I entered at a gate that hadn't been utilized in a long time. As I kicked off and cruised, I happened upon a tree filled with crows having what I can only call a convention. It was a privilege to be able to see what's called a murder of crows in one of their most intimate and powerful moments. And I didn't want this moment to end. It was like I dipped into this ink pot of crow magic.
What in the world? The Cauldron fairy came. What?
I've always wanted one of these, like a big one.
And it's... Wow. That is so cool. My mom must have found it.
I'm going to continue talking about crows as I work on cleaning this cauldron. Side note though, isn't this orange rust just gorgeous, especially on this black metal? The more I learn about these birds, the more I love them. They have families that they care for. Even when their crow babies have learned to fly, the parents still feed them. They fly around together. I watch this on rooftops sometimes. I watch one bird that seems to be just as big as the parents sitting there waiting for one of the parent birds to come and feed them. It's very sweet. They grieve their dead. They bring presents to people who feed them. They will also gang up on those who have wronged them. They can identify people and communicate to each other, hey, that person wronged us, give them hell. They can solve problems, and they can use tools. And one of the things that I appreciate, because I love my squirrel friends in the neighborhood, is when they see hawks that come into the neighborhood to hunt, they dive bomb them. They tell them they are not welcome. They try to escort them out. These are my own poignant moments that I've had with crows. The history and the meetings and the memories I have bring them forward into my life and into my magic. And you will also have a very specific relationship to them as well. I would love to hear more about your relationship to crows in the comments. I'll have to try to cure the pot when I have access to an open fire. So for now, Bertha, my helping hand, will hang out gloriously in all her character and lived experience. She reminds me of a grandma with a belly full of wisdom. I try to imagine what and how she was used before. The rust gives me a clue, but so does the fact that the person didn't want to clean the rust either. Regardless, our new friend Bertha needs a good, serious clean to get rid of the crud off of her. I took a good 15 minutes smoking out Bertha's body with pine. Here's a framework for a spell I did with the Dark Moon and Wise Old Bertha.